Well, greetings and salutations, everyone, from the heartland, coming from my heart, hopefully right to yours. I'm Jeffey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower, and my guest today really needs no introduction around these parts. Whether she's reading tarot at a ridiculously high level of expertise, whether she is prognosticating on future events, or whether she is commenting on the great socio-polycultural trends of our time, she's always the one, the only, Jenny Constantine. Welcome back to the Christian Whistleblower Show.
Oh, thanks so much, Jeff. You really know how to gas me up.
Hey, that's what I'm here for. That's what I'm here for. Gas is something I'll never run short of, Jenny.
Oh my goodness.
So it's been a while since we've seen you. I knew you'd come looking like you always look, all in styled up. So I decided to break out my new Chris Jericho themed jacket. So we're both ready to go. We're both les champions of what we do. So let's get this thing on. You talk about I heard you on Facebook yesterday. I heard you on Facebook and Twitter. Was it, or Facebook and
YouTube
a couple days ago?
Yeah.
And you were talking about Atlantis a little bit. You're talking about threading the 2020 needle, talking about the 2020 portal. So let's talk about that, because I know you put a lot of thought into it, and it sounds fascinating. And folks, just sit back, relax, take a deep breath. You've entered into a no fear porn zone. It's safe here. We're going to relax. We're going to have fun. We're going to have a Corona and forget about it with a lime.
Yeah, exactly. With the lime. Have a lime, sit down, take a deep breath.
Absolutely.
It's all taken care of. So,
I get the feeling the good guys are in charge this time. What about you?
Absolutely. There's simply no doubt. There's simply no doubt. And that's really the message, that if there's one thing that I could say to the world right now, it would be, honestly, have no fear. The time for fear is over anyways. If we're being quite plain, the time to be afraid and locked and frozen with fear and panic is over. It's too late. It's too late. We are in the middle of it right now, and we're okay. We're all right. We're doing okay. Folks, there is no food shortage. There is no toilet paper shortage. The shortages that you are seeing are because the people around you are simply buying what they have in stock more quickly than they can restock it. But I promise you, this country will not run out of food, and it will not run out of toilet paper. There is enough for everybody to go around. So please relax. Relax. Everything.
Take a deep breath.
Everything is going to be okay. And I've never been one to like sugarcoat. I mean, I'll give it to you nicely if I feel it's necessary. But right now it really is go time. This is totally green light, all systems go. And I really feel like in my core that we have seized the high ground. We have tipped the scales. We have picked up enough velocity now on the positive side of things that we're essentially just flooding out all of the bad stuff. In the most layman possible terms that I could put them, that's what my interpretation is of what's happening right now. And before I got on here with you, I felt the concept of forced updates and forced deletions come to mind. And I'm thinking, I think that's a fair analogy to use, because so many people are, they understand computers now. And so we can use the analogy of a matrix simulation type of reality and start to characterize some of the key players involved in this shift as programs that are facing inevitable deletion, just like your smartphone, just like your iPhone, just like any modern computer system. It faces inevitable updates. Some updates. Do you guys know when you are given when the phone needs to undergo an update, it will prompt you a lot. Okay,
right.
This is for people that have the smartphone. So you're prompted a lot with your updates. It's time for an update. Time for an update. Most people snooze it or say later. Then there comes a point where the phone says, enough, human. We need the update. The update is mandatory. Your phone will shut off and it'll be like, sit down, we have to take care of business. So this is an analogy that I feel is very applicable to what's going on with the planet right now. This is a forced upgrade, and the phone needs to restart. The planet, things need to shut down, and we need to experience. I'm pretty sure I just spit, but it was a bubble. Like, it was a perfect little bubble.
I didn't see that, but I will run this back after we get done and take a look.
Yeah. So it's a forced update, you guys. This is just an upgrade. And so a lot of the negative programs are facing deletion. And so they have a choice. They either return to the center of the phone to get disassembled and turned into something else, junk. And so the analogy here would be what people consider the source, or the central sun, or God, or the divine creator, whatever you call it. But some are going to hang on and hook themselves in through whatever means necessary. And in this case, in this reality, in this timeline, that is going to express itself in the physical plane as things like transhumanism, AI assimilation, 5G radio waves, and just any sort of overlapping of the human organic system with the synthetic one. And so we're not gonna get whipped into a frenzy with the COVID-19. You're not gonna get it. Like, maybe that's reckless for me to say, but more people die from the flu, more people die from food poisoning, staph infection, obesity, diabetes, the opiate crisis. Like, it's people, hundreds of thousands of people go missing due to organized human trafficking every year. I want to talk about that.
Yep. Jenny, more people died last year from choking on their food. No word it was Chinese food, but more people died last year from choking on their food than have died from coronavirus in the United States.
Hillary Clinton's kill cartel has killed more people than the coronavirus in this country. By the way, I'd like to say to everybody who's listening right now, apparently Google search filters are down. So you can search for adrenochrome. I'm going to say all the words. I'm sorry, Jeff. It's the end of the world as we know it. You can search Pizzagate, Pedogate, what else? QAnon, adrenochrome, Clinton cartel.
Can you search pink as a tranny?
What?
Can you search pink as a tranny?
I guess. I don't even know what that means.
You mean you've never heard that one about all the stars are trannies? Come on, Jenny Moonstone.
Oh, yeah. Oh, Pink is a tranny.
Yeah.
Pink, the singer. Oh, yeah. I don't know. I think she's just a super masculine. Like, she just has, I think that's just her body type, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sold on that either. It's interesting, but I'm not sold on it. But, the one thing that before you get rolling anymore, I wanted to ask, and I'm really disappointed, and I've kind of thought about maybe even restructuring what I do, because I thought that, we're the truther movement. We're the new age. We're alternative media. We're the best of the best. This is the elite cadre of truth seekers. We're the elite cadre of people that are going and trying to make a better world. And as I see the way that people in our genre are reacting to this, I can tell you that ain't true. And the epiphany came to me yesterday, Jenny, and I'll ask you this question. If this shit ever does hit the fan and you're caught in one of two places when it does, would you rather be caught at a Trump Make America Great Again rally or caught at a Truthers conference?
Oh, God. Oh, MAGA all day, baby.
MAGA all day long.
MAGA all day.
Why need the MAGA whistleblower? Because those people all believe in the Bible, but they all have enough sense to figure out what's going on, whereas none of us truthers believe in the Bible, but we can't figure anything else out.
Oh, my God. You know what? Can I change my answer?
Yeah.
Because it just occurred to me. It did just occur. So different. You know what? I changed my answer. I can't answer that, because the MAGA people chewed me up and spit me out a little over a year ago, because I tried to contribute my voice, my insight on the QAnon phenomenon. But because I'm an open and proud pagan and I like the many gods, I have no problem. I love QAnon. I don't care. PSYOP, yes, but I love it. Come to mama. I love it. But the base, unfortunately, like a lot of people that subscribe to it, are fundamentalist Christians, and there's nothing wrong with being a Christian, okay, to each their own, but they have this very limited worldview and automatically assign this demonic, satanic enemy label to everybody that is different from themselves. So I had a bad experience with the MAGA people, but at the core, I am MAGA. You're not going to get more MAGA than me, so I don't take it personal. So, but you're right. I've seen a lot of different things. I will give credit where credit is due. I have seen some truthers that they're my friends. You know what I mean? I've seen them walk through this quite gracefully, and just really emphasize the fact that we really only have each other, and that's paramount, is that we remain connected to one another, and just stay in contact, because none of us really know what comes next. We don't really know without a shadow of a doubt what's happening. We can give our best computations and predictions and thoughts on it, but we don't really know. And the unknown is the ultimate in fear. People are more scared now than they've ever been, not from the virus, but it's from the unknown, because it's not all that clear to us just yet.
It is true. And like Tracy Dyer was saying, the cross clingers always spoil the party.
The who? The cross clingers?
The cross clingers. They always spoil the party.
Yeah. I'm not familiar with that term.
Well, Christians, we're the only right ones and everybody else is going to hell.
Clinging to the cross. I understand. Okay, I understand.
You said they won't swallow the red pill.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm in a similar situation. As you know, I'm daughter to an Intel guy. He's worked with the letter boys, the alphabet boys, his whole life. So for me, it's interesting to want to desperately have these existential conversations with him, especially about what's going on right now. He just got back from Israel.
Oh, nice.
On my birthday this past Sunday, got back. He was doing security for I'm going to say it because I've always been honest about where I come from, who my dad is, what he does. It was a United Nations sponsored event for global anti-Semitism, like in Jerusalem. So, and he's been there for like 6 weeks, and he just missed the quarantine by a day, which was my birthday. So he only got out like on my birthday. It's wild. It's all very crazy. But so you see somebody like him, they're so indoctrinated, and it's right. All based on, if you think of the root, how did they brainwash? How did they indoctrinate somebody so well that they will defend their beliefs to the death? They would rather die. They would rather undergo a kind of disassembling process than face the truth. And that's what's happening with the deep state. And that's what's happening with people that are resisting the new data that comes out. They are clinging to their belief system for dear life, and they would rather disassemble themselves. Some people would probably rather just phase out and go somewhere else rather than face the truth that we're all about to be made privy to. Because that is my belief as to what's actually going on right now under this cover, this shutdown, these quarantines, this great pause, I'd like to call it. It's not a pause at all. It's actually a moment that the masses are going to be hushed. Hush, everybody hush and sit down. And the big boys are moving in, and they have to keep us inside. It's collateral. It's to prevent collateral damage. That's my firm belief.
Yeah, I don't know what all's going on. I haven't figured it completely out yet, but I do think that the good guys are in charge. It's not oh my God, FEMA, oh my God, NWO, oh my God. Yeah. It's not that. It might be what we've all been dreaming about. It might be what we've all been waiting for. It might be the great Trump reset. It might be the end of the deep state. It might be the end of the deep dark left and the deep dark right, or the beginning of the end. It may be, the shift may have occurred. As you said, we may be on a different playing field now.
I do believe that is what's happening. And the reason why I entitled the last live stream, threading the 2020 needle, is because this period in Earth, in the 3D version of this Earth, as chronological time goes, 2020 was going to be this window, okay, a very small window. Where, is the sound okay? Do you hear that?
You're okay.
Okay. Let me see if I can. Okay. So there's a race to this window, because after Earth, this Earth's timeline, what's wrong?
Oh, I just saw a great comment in the chat room. Sorry.
No, it's fine. Say it.
We've talked about this a little bit on my channel, and Tracy Dyer posits that it could be the end of the 1,000-year NWO reign.
Mm-hmm. We believe that to be true. We believe
I do,
that
absolutely.
to be true. After this, too, I feel that things may feel different, look different. I think, just astrologically speaking, the alignments that have taken place, like just this past month. A lot of you guys have heard of her. Her name's Joni Patry. She's awesome. She's an astrologer, very well known. She's doing it a long time. She ran all of the transits and the energy for this past month, and she said it looked very similar, mirrored in a lot of ways, the energy, the planetary energy right around 9/11. So that this period in time was going to be one of those instances where everything is different almost overnight. And it just changes everything. You know, we all know what it was like to live in a post 9/11 world. The world changed like that. It just changed.
You know, I wasn't tuned in then.
Really?
No, I wasn't. I was right.
I mean, I was like 12, so.
Yeah, I wasn't tuned in. I was like, I actually was like for the Patriot Act and stuff. That's how unwoke I was.
It happens.
It happens to all of us. We all got to start somewhere, and that's definitely where that was about. And I was still thinking apocalypse and stuff when 9/11 happened. So it wasn't until maybe 4 or 5 years after that I really started tuning in. But do you think we're going to see some big names, quote unquote, or regular names within the truth movement fall by the wayside?
Fall by the wayside is kind of a nice way to say it, but what I propose is happening here is that underneath the cloak of this great pause that we're all about to experience, and when I say pause, I mean quarantines, whether they be county to county, state to state, curfews are going to be put on. All of our bars and restaurants they just all closed down. They're not serving people food and alcohol anymore for the next month. Just think of the money. I mean, the money that they're losing. This is a massive, massive loss. They wouldn't do this for no good reason. So people specifically within the truth movement, I think that a lot of people are actually going to get arrested. Now, I know this sounds really strange and that may come as a shock to some people, but we have to understand strategically and tactically, we are in the middle of a war, okay? And yes, there are good guys. Yes, the good guys are in control, but the bad guys still have a lot of juice in them, believe it or not. They still have foot soldiers. It's the evil, the dark, the bad will always, as a principality, will always find a way to manifest itself and give the good guys something to prove their goodness for. So as long as there is this dualistic nature to this place, the good guys are always going to make manifest bad guys to fight, because that's what humans love to do. So there will be, I feel, within the truth movement, whistleblowers, truth speakers, people that consistently do this kind of work. I think a lot of them are going to be brought up on some bullshit charges, and I think they're going to be detained. Whereas, on the other side of that, what some people would call the white hat operatives or the positive military are going to be coming in and making arrests. This is already documented, not fairy tales, not making this up. This is all documented. They are slamming people right now all across the world. Malaysia just took back their economy. Italy just nabbed a whole bunch of mobsters that they've been going for years. But this quarantine the Italian police can now facilitate these raids and these arrests because everybody is hunkered down through the threat of arrest to stay where the hell they are. And I love, it's the perfect operation to conduct mass arrests. So I'm all for it. And I think people honestly should comply with the quarantines when they are put into place, because I think it's for their own safety. Now, mandated vaccines need to be avoided at all costs, including imprisonment, including fines. At all costs, avoid the vaccines. That's a life or death situation. We say no to vaccines at gunpoint, okay? Because you might as well just let them shoot you.
We've already decided if it comes to mandatory vaccines.
Yeah, we can't do that. We can't do that because the NWO, their agenda, they still have something. They still have stuff in their arsenal. They do get weaker and weaker by the day. Just last Thursday, Donald Trump passed some legislation. They've been working on it for a while. I'll provide you with the link. He banned the federal use of funds and subsidies to buy telecommunications equipment from a primary Chinese company that was selling and has already sold a ton of 5G equipment in this country. And on top of that, he is providing funds for local telecommunications companies to disassemble the equipment that they already put up.
The 5G equipment.
Yes.
Do you know, since your dad was just in Israel, can you confirm or deny the idea that's floated that there's no 5G in Israel?
They banned 5G in Israel.
Jenny Constantine knows that for a fact.
Yes, we've talked about it.
So why would Israel, who's making most of the 5G, ban 5G?
Because it's for the peasants. Because 5G is for the sheep, it's for the peasants. It's not for anybody else. Now, I really have to be careful because I don't want to come off as anti-Semitic. As many of you guys know, I'm half Ashkenazi Jewish, so I'm in a very strange liminal space where I don't want to disrespect my ancestors, and I don't want to be one of those people that just, dislikes myself for no real reason. It's not my fault. You know what I mean? I didn't do anything wrong. Don't come for me. But I also am a woman of facts, and I'm a woman of common sense, and I'm reasonable. So I do understand that a lot of the corruption has been perpetuated by a particular kind of person.
Right. They're absolutely.
Sorry. But there are lots of people. There's corruption in every race. There's corruption in every sect, every cult.
And a lot of people have tried to posit that 5G might have some type of positive effects, even if they're ancillary or not intended. Like they might identify beings that aren't of terrestrial origin. Mm-hmm. Any thought on that? And then if we extrapolate, why is it not allowed in certain countries? Right.
Ooh, that's interesting. That's an interesting connection to make. These are interesting questions. But is there?
Close your door. Put on your seatbelt. Whatever that.
No, it's not. No, my engine shut off. It does it by itself. I haven't figured out how to override it. So
it's going to get hot if you don't turn the car back on.
Oh, instantly. What is it? I think it's it's 84 degrees outside. It's hot as hell out here.
I enjoyed my brief foray down in your neck of the woods, but
we had a nice winter. We had a nice flirty winter. It got kind of chilly. Got my sweatshirts out. So there does remain a possibility for, I wouldn't go as far as to say healthy, but workable, livable, integratable type of 5G system. Okay. The one that China wanted for us is completely gone. Like we're done with it. They said no more. He's even going to put money on it to have them take the shit apart and throw it away.
So did President Trump pretty much, you could say from what you're saying that President Trump preempted a Chinese tech strike against us.
Of course.
I love it.
There are some very weighty theories right now that propose that the CV-19 pandemic is actually a combination, if you will, of a pre-existing, or I shouldn't even say pre-existing, but the CV strain inside the body then makes that person more susceptible to the effects of 5G. So this is actually like a combination weapon. All right. So this is simply a theory. The 5G, this is something that I do know. I know this. 5G and COVID-19 are connected. They are connected. I don't know exactly how. I have a lot of webs out there scanning. They'll pull back to me the truth. But another thing I do know is that vaccines make you 1,000 times, that's not an exact number, but the vaccines make you exponentially more susceptible to the effects of the 5G radio waves, okay? So this is why we have to, this is part of their last desperate effort to assimilate us with a very, very negative, unhealthy, cancer-causing death network. And that's by essentially embedding our bodies with something that can be remotely affected and when it interfaces with the 5G, which is 60 gigahertz. It's like switching on a microwave and then it destabilizes the oxygen because you can't nuke something without changing the molecular structure. We are not designed to breathe in destabilized oxygen. And so that will manifest itself as these respiratory issues and symptoms that people are getting hospitalized for. December 1st, 2019, Wuhan, China switched on their 5G. A few days before they switched on their 5G, the Chinese telecommunications conglomerate built holding facilities for everybody that was about to start dropping. This is all documented.
So you're saying they knew that it was going to cause these problems, and they cranked it up anyway?
Yeah.
So riddle me this. I'm thinking about this. 6-8 months ago, I remember Donald Trump talking about getting 5G, President Trump getting 5G out to the whole country. Mm-hmm. Was he baiting them in? Was he baiting them in?
There's a race. You know, God, Trump is such an enigma. Sometimes I don't know if he is really privy to it or if he just says what he feels he needs to in that moment to always appear to seize the high ground. I love it. I think he's wonderful. Not perfect, but wonderful. Mm-hmm. I love him so much. I don't care what anybody says. I still love Donald Trump. People hate me for it. I'm like, I don't care. I'd be friends with him. I like him. I want to make him giggle. I want to see him giggle. I want to make him laugh. Anyways, I digress. There's a race. I
once made him giggle, just so you know.
What?
I once made Donald Trump giggle.
Did you?
Many years ago, yes.
You slut.
No, it wasn't like that at all. I went up and talked to him, and I had my copy of Art of the Deal with me.
Right.
We met randomly when I was interviewing for a job, and I had it, and I talked to him for probably 10 minutes and was so, struck by his presence and this great conversation that I turned around and started to walk away, and I heard him giggling. He goes, "Did you want me to sign that or what?" So he signed it.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing. That's really great. There is.
Uh-oh, folks. We just watched Jenny Constantine somewhere lurking outside a gospel parking lot, somewhere in the vast reaches of South Florida, with Jenny Constantine in a car, checking her makeup, thinking she's still on this show. No, she wouldn't do that, but she's not. Hopefully that she'll call back. But wow, what a bunch of interesting stuff. What a bunch of weird stuff, ladies and gentlemen. What a bunch of wild stuff. And just that quickly.
Boom, she's back.
Hi, sorry about that.
I joked. I said you were checking your makeup and you hit the wrong button.
Yeah, exactly. That isn't what happened. I wanted to see if I could see the comments because I see you reading the comments.
Yeah.
Like a crazy man over here, scanning. And I'm like, shit, I don't even know what's going on.
Now they say they can't hear me. Of course you can hear me. Yeah, it's okay. We're good. We're back and we're free to navigate.
Good.
So, wow. I mean, lots of bombs and revelations going off everywhere. And I mean, so is 5G still going to happen here?
I hope not. And we need to educate ourselves about truly what 5G is and then what some potential alternatives are, if people even decide collectively that that is something that we need. Okay. And I think moving forward, there have been hundreds of resignations and step downs and going away.
Why?
Because, oh my God, don't get me started. I'm going to start screaming.
This is what you're here for.
I am so excited. No, like, you don't understand. I'm a classy lady. I'm a composed lady, but something about what's going on in the world right now makes me want to like go General Patton with my profanity and like display of like just
you can do that if you want. You can do that if you want.
I won't. I'll save it. But there have been, I truly believe this to be true, that for a great many years now, maybe not relatively, but a long time, 15, 20, 25 years even, there has been a very slow crawl to this stage right now. It manifested itself in the form of good people within the military-industrial complex and politics for a while. You know what I mean? There were good people that witnessed and knew how corrupt it was, and a lot of people had to die. A lot of good people that were going to blow the whistles or did blow the whistles were taken out. And so it picked up velocity so quickly here within the last few years. And so when Trump first got elected, those of us that were paying attention noticed that there was a great many arrests of low-level traffickers and sexual offenders. And, at the time, it was still very brand new, so people were very impatient. They were frustrated. They said, no, arrest this person, we want the big names. You guys, you have to understand it took a long time for these tentacular entities of these traffickers, and they're in high places and they're scattered all over the place. It took them a while to gain that kind of footing. It took us a while to root them out. Okay, it did. And so we start at the bottom, we start cutting deals with the nobodies, and they give us information about the bigger fish, and up and up and up and up we go. The fish get bigger, Now we've got Tom Hanks and his slut wife. I hate them all. I hope they all I hate them all.
But not where they sing. They got to sing like McCain. They got to sing like Epstein.
They've got to sing like birdies.
Yep.
I say hold the torch to them. I'm all about it. I'm like, waterboard them, hold the torch to them, all of it.
Think if only forget about half, if only a quarter, Jenny, of what we've heard they do is half true. If a quarter of it's half true, they have completely obliterated and exhausted their right to any human compassion.
They've revoked their compassion card, and they knew that they were paying a price. They signed a contract. This is their payment. This is how they pay. With their name, people will never speak their names again. Once we are done with them, we will erase them from history. And better yet, their names will be on the wrong side. They'll be the traitors. They'll be the snakes, the rats, the rodents that were all caught one day during a marvelous period that we will lovingly and forever dub the storm. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what I believe is going on. This storm has been so long coming, and there's no need to fear. Fear if you want to. If it gets you excited, if it gets shit done, go for it. Panic if you want to. Go hyperventilate, go puke, whatever. Get back to work. Who cares? So I'm just so excited. Yes, there's a war for 5G dominance. There may be alternatives that don't cook us. I don't know. We have to educate ourselves about that.
Do you see any significance to the Gates resignation from the board?
Oh my God. Bill Gates stepped down. Lockheed Martin CEO stepped down. Everybody is gone.
The Disney guy stepped down. He's just gone.
Yeah. No, it's over. Jeff, it's over. Everybody watching, it's over. It's over. It's done. This is their apocalypse. There will be a vacuum resulting from this. So Hollywood is going to burn. It's burning right now. There will be a wonderful opportunity for people whose talents and abilities and means and know-withal have been suppressed for a long time, because a lot of these industries were monopolized by parasitic people that you weren't allowed to get to a certain point unless you joined their fuckboy cults or whatever. Their boy fucking cults. Sorry about my language. Tell them to take it up with me. I really don't care. They can all.
But Jenny, I just have one question.
What?
Am I going to get to see the new Top Gun movie or not?
Who cares? You know what? Let's pick our own. You know what? We need, seriously, I'm serious. I mean this. Hollywood is going to be replaced because they're still going to have lots of beautiful resources. There's, you know what I mean? We're just under new management.
And Ian Jacqueline, who's in our chat room right now, who's actually starred in multiple Hollywood productions, just happened to pop in and says she's right, and that's the voice of experience.
Yeah. Well, why does that name sound so familiar? I think I added.
Ian is I cured cancer. Dr. Robert O. Young's.
Oh yes.
Yeah. Okay. And by the way, Dr. Robert O. Young on Friday will be on this channel telling us what viruses are, what they aren't, what you need to worry about, what you don't, and how you can get yourself healthy and keep yourself healthy. So be here Friday at 2 p.m. for Dr. Robert O. Young. And I don't know if Ian's going to join us or not. I have to ask him.
Can everybody do me a personal favor and ask him if it's possible for something that is definitively a virus, can it be affected by 60 gigahertz?
I will write that down.
Write it down.
Can a virus be affected by 60 gigahertz? Gigahertz or megahertz? Giga? 60 GHz effect on virus. Okay.
Yeah. Let's see what it does. The way that I've
And by the way, he's a real doctor. He's not some idiot that just signed up for medical school that wants to make everybody believe he's a doctor when he's a shitty financial PhD. I hate PhDs that call themselves doctor. Oh boy. Don't get me started, Jenny Constantine.
Oh man, I kind of want to. It's fun.
Don't get me started.
All right.
Multiple PhDs has Dr. Robert O. Young. But anyway.
Piled high and deep.
Piled high and deep. And I guarantee you that he will say something like, oh, just call me Robert. He won't demand the doctor title. He's a regular guy.
That's funny. That's good. That's good.
Anyway, where were we before I went on that mini rant?
5G.
Yeah.
The global arrest. But yeah, people within the truth media.
Jenny. Why didn't they just jump off buildings like they used to do? Why did they all resign?
They have been.
Yeah.
No, they have been. There have been lots of suicides and strange, untimely. You have to look for these things because all those, mega outlets that people subscribe to on the daily, they have skin in the game. So they don't want to put this kind of news readily out there for people.
Drudge Report's been co-opted. You cannot depend on Drudge Report anymore. It's been co-opted.
Has it?
Yes.
Is that a fact?
It's been sold, and it's just not who's it sold to. Drudge is not compiling anymore. If you look at it, you can't tell that it's watching Drudge now. It's like watching a YouPorn truther. You can't tell if you're watching Rachel Maddow, Anderson Cooper, or somebody on YouTube. You can't tell if you're reading CNN or Drudge Report.
That's really too bad.
It is too bad. It is too bad. Jenny, how does this connection back to Atlantis figure in?
Ooh, so if it feels okay, everything goes in cycles, okay? All of life in cycles, from the most macro cosmic example to something like the planet itself or a galaxy, or at least what we know about galaxies. Everything goes on a cycle. Astrology is a cycle. The human body regenerates itself on a cycle. The trees, the weather, everything is in this flux. Okay, this cycle.
By the way, I just found out where all the oldest trees in Kansas are, and I'm going to go visit them.
You have to, because that's really like I've been trying painfully to articulate this notion that I have that the synthetic 5G grid that they've created through synthetic means is actually just this sort of imposter, this this kind of mock-up of a network that already exists and is rooted through the oldest trees, and that they actually emanate a network itself, an organic grid that would dwarf 5G, dwarf it.
Yeah, people don't realize that there used to be the Wood-wide network way before there was the Worldwide Network.
Who said that?
I did. I made that shit up.
No,
the Wood-wide network. Yeah.
I'm taking it. It's mine now.
That's all right. Just give me credit every now and then. But it is the Wood-wide network. And I'm telling you, that's why I started talking to trees. That's why I started visiting with trees, because they will give you some information. They've been around forever, and they share that information all around. It's the Wood-wide network.
Jeff, if I were to say to you, because I'm sure you've heard the ancient trees that were all cut down. So we're talking about the Devil's Tower.
I'm going there.
So the idea that these are all now fossilized silicon crystal of trees that were larger than life. Well, think about
what transmitting, Jenny? Are they transmitting to us?
Yes. Well, no, it's not just through us. Yes, they're intrinsically connected through to us. But think about what they were attached to up top and down below.
Ooh.
So, yeah. And so, honestly, it's fucking amazing. Sorry about
the answer, my friend, really is blowing in the wind.
It is.
That's an old song. You're too young to remember it.
Yeah, I don't know what that means.
The answer, my friend, is blowing in the wind. The answer is blowing in the wind. You don't remember that? Everybody's
Are you a boomer? Are you a boomer?
I don't even know what that means.
I'm a millennial. You're a boomer.
I don't know what that means.
Because only a boomer would sing the song. Would be like, oh, you know it. I'm gonna sing it. Okay.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Cynthia says I am a boomer. That can only mean good things. But
no, it's cool. It's cool. Listen, nobody gets a worse rap than the millennials. So
yeah. But anyway, I sidetracked you about trees, but we were talking about Atlantis cycles.
Yes. Cycles. Sorry. Okay. So, if we were to conceptualize what's happening right now as a kind of stage, a world stage, which I think is easy enough to accept. William Shakespeare likened it to a world stage. There's actors, bad actors. There's, the principalities.
And you realize that was a pissed off Jewish broad that wrote those plays, just so you know.
Excuse me? Really?
Yep. I can prove that.
Oh.
Makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
Huh. That's really interesting, actually. I have to look into that.
Credit that to Joseph Atwill, not Jeffey Daugherty. All
right. So we live in a dualistic realm. This cannot really be argued. It's pretty evident. Okay. There exists the light, the dark, everything in between. Principalities take on all different kinds of manifestations, including people. And so it is my belief that this current cycle that this current race is going through right now mirrors almost to a T. We could use the term echoes, okay, because what cellular memory does is it reverberates, it emanates, okay. It is information and it vibrates and it's stored within the cellular memory. So kind of in line with that train of thought, there are characters, key players in this current sort of Act 2, if you will, more like Act 7. We're kind of, or Act 9 rather. We're at the end of it. There were going to be characters, key players that will incarnate, that will have a role in what plays out here in the New Atlantis. Sir Francis Bacon documented a great many times. He made lots of reference to the New Atlantis. A grand empire would rise in the West, and it would not be defeated the way that the old Atlantis was. The old Atlanteans became corrupted by their power. They misused it. And so kind of like in line with my forced upgrades and forced deletions analogy, they did not heed the warnings. They did not heed that things needed to be forced deleted. Things needed to be, recycled. There needed to be updates in the system. And so the gods, whomever the gods were, the gods said, you now all have to pay. And so I feel like that's kind of where we're at right now. A few examples of people that I believe are Atlantean incarnates. Myself, I'm definitely one of them. Elon Musk, Claire Boucher, also known as Grimes. I think within Hollywood, we have a few people. Kid Cudi, you guys probably don't know who that is. His real name's Scott. He's an entertainer. There are lots of people within Hollywood that are they're really like stars, okay? Very old souls that have been taken by the machine and used to work for the wrong side. And a lot of characters now are essentially rising into their roles and realizing, understanding, remembering who they are, what's going on, because a grand effect, perhaps the grandest effect of all, that's going to be symptomatic of the 2020 needle, the threading of the 2020 needle, is that suddenly these bridges, these connections between who we are, our true nature, where we come from, all of these things are going to be made known. All of these things are going to be made abruptly known. And so that's how I feel this is very much in line with Atlantis. Atlantis had to deal with a very similar kind of destruction. And it's not that we're looking at our own destruction, but we are looking at a group of people that have been in power for a great long time and have abused technology. They have abused what was given to them, and they have taken far too much. And now they're answering to the principality of good manifested as the people, as the planet. We're very much in alliance with the planet. So that's why I say simple things like go to the trees. The trees have, especially the oldest trees on the planet, they know things that your body forgot. You know what I mean? And so they're literally rooted in the truth. Yeah. So I feel like even if we were to like clone some of the genetics of the ancient trees and have them get them going again and resurrect that system and use it as a sort of countermeasures, if you will, against any potential 5G threats, we could dwarf 5G in a heartbeat, literally in a heartbeat. If everybody was to come together and connect to one another through the heart network, unstoppable. We would fry the matrix right now. The walls would come down. We would know. We would have full recall of who we were, where we've been. And General Patton, for example, he was one of those people that was born with a little bit more recall than everybody else. And so to them, the matrix fabric is simply thinner, okay, because they're already more tuned in. And so I'm proposing that after the 2020 needle, the fabric is just, it's being forced to look, it's a forced upgrade. We're going through it anyways. And their last ditch effort is to lock in your human mind and lock it into their version of virtual reality or AI reality, so that you don't really trust your senses anymore. And you just say, okay, fine, assimilate me. Sure, give me the mandatory vaccines. Sure, I'll do whatever you want. You have to fight. Because if you don't fight, if you don't make a choice, right or wrong, it'll be made for you.
You know, that's interesting because, and I wanted to talk about a couple things, but we don't have a lot of time left. It's interesting because BB last year called the United States the new Rome. And there's some reasons for that, but really, he hopes it's the new Rome and not the new Atlantis. I got to look. I've never heard this term, the new Atlantis. I got to get on that. But over the past year, and this is very unusual for me, not unusual with women, but normal, very unusual for men. I haven't listened to my blank over the last year, and I ended up getting involved with multiple people that I knew from the beginning. Something just not quite right here. But yet I proceeded.
Okay.
Has this, do you think maybe the scrambling, the build up to it has kind of had my mojo off a little bit? Or I just too arrogant to not listen to my blink and just damn the torpedoes, ready, fire, aim.
Well, and here's the thing. So this will serve the individual. This will serve the person, the individual person watching this, listening to this right now. That your individual connection with the matrix is so unique. It is an interface, the interface between your individual soul, your ego, your soul, your higher self, your bioenergy. All of it is a signature. It is a frequency. And what the universe, or what the matrix, which essentially are one and the same thing, the matrix is of the universe, as is evil, as is good. It's all the same stuff, nothing separate from it. Your connection with the matrix is so unique that the matrix will reflect back to you whatever it is that you're like literally putting out. It's a mirror. So if you're anxious for opportunities, if you are anxious to find something, the matrix will reflect that back to you. And so you just simply have to be conscious of that sort of thing. And I always stress to people, listen to your impulse. Listen to your impulse. And the impulse works the same way as the divining rods or a pendulum. It's those fast twitch. Okay, so it's like you ask the question, you have we're all by definition sizable antenna. Okay, we're just stacks of meat and electricity. Everything runs through us quite seamlessly. We're actually perfect conduits. And so when you ask a question, you have that intention. The truth, whether it is a negative charge or a positive charge, will move through your body, your muscle fibers, your tissue, your liquids, faster than and more accurately than your brain will filter the answer and come out, because our filters are doubt. We think we're full of shit. We're like, nah, that's just the answer that I want. So it's the same thing. It works the same. If you listen to your first instinct, it's right. Don't overthink it. Don't overthink it. So
absolutely.
And then the universe will show you, the matrix will show you, gotcha, sucker. It sucks, believe me, it happens.
So has the universe been playing a cruel trick on me, or have I been playing a cruel trick on myself by not listening to my blink? And I teach this. I tell people listen to their blink, and 1, 2, 3, 4 times I didn't listen to my blink.
Oh, there you go.
But I think but it'd be so good for the channel. It'd be a lot more people watching, a lot more subscribers. We can reach more people. Everett, what is it that the Al Pacino movie, the Devil's Advocate? Of all the sins, pride is my favorite. That's the devil.
Ooh, hey, listen, pride is a hell of a thing. It's
and by the way, I'm right on the cusp. Boomers are from 1963 back to 1946, and Gen Xers are from 64 to 74. So I'm a Gen X boomer.
Oh my God.
I don't know if that's pretty good or bad, but that's just what it is.
It's fine. You're fine.
You were born in what year? So you're
89.
In what?
89.
So you are a Gen Y-er, right?
I'm a millennial.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is your Gen Y. That is.
I'm a filthy millennial, and all we do is leech off the system. And
you're just a dirty hippie.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Wow.
No, I don't hate anybody. I love hippies. Are great.
Hippies are great. They just smell funny.
They smell funny.
It's
we love
patchouli.
Our hippies. Yeah.
Patchouli. If you think patchouli is a substitute for deodorant, it's really not.
It's not.
I just want to let you know it's really not. It may make you feel good, but it don't make you smell good. But anyway. So what do we do with all this information that we have to help us thread this 2020 needle?
So as simple as it sounds, I feel very strongly that a lot of the footwork is done. And that's why, all right, I'm going to turn the car back on because it's hot. It's hot.
I bet it is. You're getting a little shiny.
Am I? No, I'm not, because I put on a setting spray that keeps me mattified.
I just wanted to freak you out a little bit.
So you're so distracting. What was I gonna say? What was
I? Am I shiny?
Am I shiny? Dang it. What was I gonna say? I can't remember.
We're talking about threading the 2020 needle.
So threading that needle, y'all. So a lot of the nasty footwork has already been done. We want to take this time now to reflect on all of the sacrifices that have been made to get us to this point. COVID-19 is not going to be the end of you or your family or your loved ones or your neighborhood. No, there will be a lot of businesses that shut down that don't come back. We are looking at a real hit, financially, but everybody is going to be hit by it. And when everybody is hit by something, that's when necessity kicks in and we actually reach out to each other. We help each other. There are two groups of people right now. There are two groups of people right now. The people that are about themselves, that will lose. They will lose, because the people that are about the community, we're more. There's more of us. There's more of us. And it's not going to get to the point where, you know, this isn't The Walking Dead. There's a reason why they completely inundated the population with apocalypse movies and zombie movies and this and that for so many years, because they want people to think that it's going to be a brutal, you know, fight and teeth and knuckles. And for some people it will be, because that's the reality that they are creating for themselves. But for the rest of us, it's not that big a deal. Stay where you are. Don't be an asshole. I plan on being an asshole, actually. The National Guard is in Broward County, and I want to head down there tomorrow and start asking some questions with my phone and my live stream, and let's see what happens, right? It'll make
Are you
for
really?
great. Yeah, I am. I would love to.
That sounds like an interesting thing to do.
Yeah, I just want to, you know, be like, hey, Sergeant.
Do you know, you do know the ranks, right? So you know, you address.
I do. Yeah. You know, I'm a huge advocate, and nothing, all out of respect, because listen, I believe we're on the same side.
I know that it was greatly disappointing to you when you tried to go and volunteer for Space Force, and they told you they weren't accepting any volunteers at this point, only inter-service transfers.
Well, listen to this. A couple months ago, I filled out an application. They called me the next day, and because apparently all of my basic information, I meet the requirements. I'm not a felon. I'm within the age range, this and that. So apparently that has changed. Now they are taking cadets. They're taking enlisted. So I'm like, man, let's get it, you know? Oh, man.
So you could potentially be a Space Force cadet.
I don't think they call them cadets. I think that's just me being a free
That
loop,
would be interesting.
Wouldn't it be funny? Would you still be friends with me?
Oh, sure. I don't know. You know, I was in the military for 7 years, and I'm having a hard time reconciling Jenny Constantine and military way of life just a little bit.
I'm fine. I'm not a big deal. I'm only like this because I can be. But if I'm not supposed to be, listen, I've been sent to this place and that place. I was sent to a program when I was a teenager, and I got with that program. And I followed the rules. And I rose, and I was treated well, and things went well because I followed the rules and I played the game. So I know how it goes. I'm not just this rebel that has no filter. It's fine. It's great.
I know you don't remember this, but when I think about you in the Space Force, I kind of think Private Benjamin a little bit.
Oh yeah, Private Benjamin. Oh my God, no.
You remember that one?
Yeah, it's a fantastic movie. Honestly, Private Benjamin. Oh my God, it's so bad.
So what else do we do, Jenny, besides join Space Force? What's the best thing that we can do practically to thread this needle and get us where we need to be?
Understand that there is no food shortage. There's no toilet paper shortage. You're not going to lose power. There's no need for it unless, you need to be prepared anyways. Like, we've been trying to tell you people that things are going to happen now for the better part of 20 years. People have been talking about this forever. Okay, so if it's some things are too late. Like, honestly, in some cases, for some people, it's too late.
You should have had 3 weeks of shit put aside. Come on.
Well, listen, straight up, a month ago, I was sitting in my car and I said, the Western flock has not yet been spooked. The moment that they are, it's too late. Get your shit now. That was 3 weeks ago, almost a month ago. I told people, I got my stuff. I'm not going to wait. I knew what was coming. Yeah. But listen, if you have access to any kind of natural area where you're not being patrolled, they're not patrolling you, they're not telling you can't be there, don't be stupid. Don't start, pushing up against, if there's National Guardsmen, if there's cops, don't look for trouble. Just stay, honestly, I'm not going to start pushing civil unrest right now. Now's not the time. The time for that's over. You should have been doing that, okay? It's not, now we're not going to do that. Trees, the trees have it. I'm telling you, the trees have it. If you can, get with the trees. Envision the trees. Imagine the oldest trees that you can in the world and be with that tree. I know that sounds ridiculous, but
you can look up on the internet in your state the oldest trees, and it will show you where the oldest trees are. And I'm going to actually start going and visiting those old trees.
People should start doing that in groups. People should start visiting these places in groups, as well as the oldest trees, the ones that they call, the Devil's Tower, the tabletop, the mesas, all of these places that are clearly still fossilized silicon crystal, and get yourself around that energy and revive it. Ask it, talk to it. It hears you, it understands you. It's made of silicon crystal, the same thing a computer's made out of. It can hear you, it remembers, it knows, it's predicting, it's working, it's active.
Jenny, it's got to still be broadcasting. It's got to still be sending out information.
You know it is.
Just waiting for somebody to listen to it.
There was a reason that they cut it down.
Boom. Why did they cut that bitch down?
Because that was our interplanetary nature. That was the key. That was locks and keys. This matrix comes down.
Did they cut down the trees and try to replace it with the pyramids? And the pyramids aren't all great and cool. They're actually bad.
I would say that they're. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to say anything about that. I don't know.
Squirrel.
It's a squirrel. It's, you know what? I think that the pyramids may have been a man-made, partially man-made, or kind of, again, like it's posing as something that occurs naturally.
Yeah.
Okay? Like certain points on the planet are just, there's something that happens there. You know what I mean? And this predates Jesus. This predates, some trees have been around. There are trees on the planet.
Predates the Easter Bunny too.
The Easter Bunny, man. Oh man, this has been fun.
It has been fun. It has been real fun. And it's just, you just got to get out there, and you got to, if you do get quarantined, like Nigel, my buddy in China, he got quarantined for 14 days. So what did he do? He took his temperature like a good boy. He wrote it on the paper. He finished his book. What have you been doing that? What have you always wanted to do? It's 14 days. Take your quarantine, like a man, like a woman, get it done. It's not that big of a deal. I don't know if it comes from that, to be frank.
I think it's actually such a great opportunity for people to kickstart a great new fitness or nutrition regimen.
Exactly. Or what is your great basic purpose? You've always wanted to, I know that I'm supposed to do this, but I've never had time to do it. Well, now you got 14 days.
Yeah. Organize your sock drawer. Put the shower rod back up. Fix the window. You know what I mean? Just do it. Because, what else are you going to do? But
find your great basic purpose. Go hang out with the tree.
Oh, how sweet. All these little girls just went to the spa and had their makeup done. It's really cute.
Oh, isn't that cute?
Yeah.
You can tell that you're in South Florida because every car that's driven by has been like a Range Rover.
Oh, my God. That's so funny. Yeah. No, it's, ooh, that was a sheriff.
Uh-oh.
Every time I do a live stream, the sheriff comes around.
And if I don't ask this, somebody will get mad at me. I have, but tell people, have you talked to Heidi, and is she doing good?
Oh, yes, I have. I talked to Heidi quite a bit. We actually just talked, I think it was 3 nights ago. She called me. Well, I don't want to get into detail about what we talked about, but it was about COVID-19. She voiced some concerns. I voiced some concerns. We met in the middle. But yeah, Heidi's great. Heidi's always got it under control.
She does.
Yeah, she's great. She's doing really well.
If you're ever worrying about people, don't waste the time worrying about Heidi Vandenberg.
No,
she don't need it. Right, Heidi's rocking it.
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, that's your Heidi Vandenberg update, ladies and gentlemen. So Jenny, do you still have your website? And I know you're trying to kick your YouTube channel back off.
Yeah. So I totally am really trying to use, and so this is one way that I'm going to use this time, because I don't have to shuttle kids back and forth to school. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have time. I can do more live streams. So my YouTube channel is still Jenny Constantine. I really want to be more active over there. So much to talk about. My website where I do my tarot readings, I've got nothing but time, and people now are being forced to internalize and go within. So this is a great time to get a reading, jennymoonstone.com. And so, yeah, that's it. Most of my activity is going to be on Facebook, and everything that I want to share publicly, it's all there. So I do a lot of writings. I get what I call downloads. These are messages from my spirit team regarding certain situations that are going on. Sometimes it's way easier for me to write something out or type something up than it is to just jump on a live stream because I am a woman. I'm self-conscious. I don't really want to get on the live stream when I roll out of bed in the morning. But sometimes I get my best downloads when I'm just a hot mess. And I'm like, you know, I've got a top bun and yesterday's makeup. And I'm like, oh, Eureka. You know what I mean? But I can't just jump on here. I have to like. You
Private
understand.
Benjamin, ladies.
Private Benjamin. Is that what's going on? Is that what it is?
Somebody says, are there trees growing out of the Trump Tower? Ask Jenny if they're about the trees growing out of Trump Tower.
I'm not aware of any trees, but what comes to mind is the fact that Trump has an entire room that is sort of covered in gold. And gold is a really huge factor in this whole network war because the naturally occurring metals we have on this planet, I mean, there's a lot, but to name a few, the most precious ones and also ones that seamlessly interact with our physical bodies are gold and silver. Gold and silver may potentially be activated and exalted, those expressions, the lunar and solar expressions of silver and gold, because they are naturally occurring within us. I think that they could be considered weapons to push back on a 5G network with the use of the wood wide web.
That's nice. Good stuff.
Natural metals. No, because if this comes down to a war of sorcery, magic versus sorcery, sorcery is going to be your synthetic radio waves, your radiation, your nanoparticles, all of this fake synthetic shit metal that makes us sick, all of their corrupt, inverted crap. And then on the other side of it, the network that is naturally occurring, we've got gold, we've got silver, we've got our electromagnetic energy that emits itself naturally and is rooted in the center of the earth and in the sky. These are our weapons. This is what we are as the race. And we can look 5G directly in the face and dwarf it and neutralize that shit literally in a heartbeat if only we knew what we were doing.
Absolutely. And I've never been afraid of it, and I'm not going to start now.
No.
She's Jenny Constantine. One more time with your website, please.
JennyMoonstone.com. Hit me up.
It's the best time to get a reading, so hit her up, and she'll hook you up with some of the best tarot work that's available anywhere. We do appreciate you so much, Jenny. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you.
Any closing genius level stuff you can lay down on us?
I think I gave all my best stuff, so I think that's it.
All right.
Stay calm, keep calm, have a good time, enjoy the children, the animals, kiss your lover, hug your mama, call your friends.
Do all that good stuff. For Jenny Constantine, I'm Jeffey Daugherty, the Christian Whistleblower. We're saluting you for being here, seeking after truth. And remember, this is the time. I mean, if you're going to be quarantined, you might as well get yourself unindoctrinated, right?
Yep.
Okay. We'll see you again real soon, folks. Take care.